Did Warren Buffett secretly bet against Bitcoin while the whole world was busy buying it? And if he did, how did one of the most famous anti-crypto voices pull it off without anyone noticing? Until it was way too late. Because here's the crazy part. While retail investors were chanting "to the moon," Buffett was setting up a strategy so subtle, so indirect, that most people didn't even realize he was positioning himself against Bitcoin. And the aftermath? It shook both Wall Street and the baby crypto world to the core. Today, we're diving deep into how Warren Buffett quietly made one of the boldest anti-Bitcoin moves in financial history, and what it reveals about the future of crypto, stocks, and real wealth building. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll not only understand why Buffett did it, you'll know how to protect yourself when the next big asset bubble pops. First, you have to understand why this matters. Bitcoin isn't just a digital currency. It's a movement, a rebellion against traditional finance. And Buffett? He is traditional finance. He's the establishment. So when Buffett publicly called Bitcoin rat poison squared, people laughed, rolled their eyes, and kept buying anyway. They thought he was just another old billionaire who didn't get technology, that he was out of touch. But what if Buffett wasn't ignorant? What if he knew exactly what he was doing? What if he was warning us in public, while hedging against the collapse in private? To see how Buffett bet against Bitcoin without touching Bitcoin itself, you have to follow the money, not the headlines. In early 2022, while crypto was booming and Bitcoin was still hovering around $40,000 to $60,000, Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway, made a surprising investment. It wasn't in blockchain technology. It wasn't in Bitcoin ETFs. It wasn't even in tech companies riding the crypto wave. It was in traditional financial institutions, and one in particular, Nubank. Nubank is a Brazilian digital bank focused on the unbanked population, often linked to crypto adoption in emerging markets. Sounds bullish on Bitcoin, right? Wrong. Because while Nubank was making crypto accessible to the masses, Buffett wasn't investing in Bitcoin. He was investing in the rails, the companies that profit no matter what happens to crypto prices. And even more importantly, during that same period, Buffett doubled down on American Express, Bank of America, and other financial behemoths, the very institutions Bitcoin was supposed to disrupt. He wasn't betting on the success of Bitcoin. He was betting on the survival of the system Bitcoin was trying to overthrow. But the real dagger came with Buffett's ongoing investments in energy and commodities. While crypto fans were screaming digital gold, Buffett was buying up actual gold miners, Occidental Petroleum, Chevron, hard assets, real-world resources, assets that don't disappear in a blackout, assets that don't need internet access to survive. Far too short, Buffett was preparing for a future where, if Bitcoin failed, he would still win. And if Bitcoin succeeded, he'd still make money off the financial infrastructure supporting it. That's not ignorance. That's strategic brilliance. So how can you apply Buffett's secret anti-Bitcoin playbook to your own investments? Here's the three-step strategy he quietly followed. And you can too. Step 1. Bet on infrastructure, not hype. Buffett didn't buy Bitcoin because he didn't see Bitcoin as a productive asset. He sees value in things that generate cash flow, dividends, and real economic activity. While others were chasing the next big thing, Buffett was investing in the boring but essential businesses that keep the economy moving. Banks, utilities, energy companies. You can copy this by asking one simple question before any investment. Does this create value, even if the hype dies? If the answer's yes, it's probably a Buffett-style play. If the answer's no, you might just be buying into a I bubble. Step 2. Embrace hard assets. During uncertainty, Buffett increased his exposure to commodities while crypto was peaking. Why? Because when uncertainty rises, inflation, wars, pandemics, hard assets tend to outperform digital ones. He wasn't just making a bet against Bitcoin. He was making a bet for things that you can touch, feel, and use no matter what happens online. You don't need to be a billionaire to follow this move. You can start small. ETFs focused on commodities, real estate, investment trusts, precious metals. Remember, when the digital world shakes, the physical world still stands. Step 3. Always play the long game. Buffett didn't rush to short Bitcoin. He didn't scream for regulation or panic on CNBC. He just positioned himself quietly and waited. Because he knows bubbles don't pop because of opinions. They pop because fundamentals catch up with fantasy. When you invest, think like Buffett. Don't worry about what's hot today. Ask yourself what will still be necessary 10 years from now. Patience isn't sexy, but it's deadly effective. So what happened next? Well, by late 2022 and into 2023, Bitcoin crashed from its highs, losing over 70% of its value at one point. Crypto exchanges imploded. Scandals rocked the industry. Billions were wiped out. Meanwhile, Buffett's bets on energy, banking, and hard assets quietly paid off. While crypto investors were panicking, Buffett's portfolio was printing cash. He didn't have to touch Bitcoin to beat Bitcoin. He just understood a simple truth. The real winners aren't chasing the future. They're building the foundations it's forced to stand on. And that's why, even today, while Bitcoin tries to recover and fight for mainstream acceptance, Buffett is still winning, still earning, still proving that boring beats brilliant when brilliant gets too greedy. But here's the kicker. The next wave of crypto innovation is coming. Blockchain is evolving. Tokenization of real-world assets is accelerating. And Buffett? He's watching. Waiting, ready to strike again, quietly, when the time is right. The question is, will you be ready too? If you found this breakdown eye-opening, you need to see what happened when George Soros took down an entire country's economy, literally overnight. It's a story of power, risk, and ruthless precision. Click on that next video and prepare to have your mind blown. Because if you thought Buffett's move against Bitcoin was cold, wait until you see how Soros crushed an entire nation's currency and made billions doing it.